Welcome to Poland Daily History with me, Nicholas Richardson. In this series of episodes, we're going to be looking at Polish history from a British perspective and also Anglo-Polish relations in a geopolitical context. And I'm delighted to have with me in the studio today Richard Berkeley, who is half Polish. He's been living in Poland for 20 years and is able to bring a unique perspective onto this subject. So this is probably a good way to sort of sum up and think about where do we see Anglo-Polish relations today?
Well, I mean, Polish is the second most widely spoken language in England at the moment, isn't it? And I think, I don't know, if you look at Germans or you look at the French or you look at the Swede or the Norwegian, you see a real physical difference. And strangely, I don't know if you feel the same about this as I do, but when I look at a Pole, most Poles, or at least in Warsaw, I think, well, God, you could be English, actually.
Yes.
You know. And
also, like, unlike, you know, they also, I found Poles actually have they share an English-type sense of humour.
Well, if you read Mrożek, for example, and all these people, yeah. I mean, there's this irony and this sort of anti-establishmentism, which is very, very amusing, actually.
But I know it's but you know, there's this sort of new campaign, 100 Years of Friendship. You'll see everybody at the embassy wear these little badges.
Oh, well, they do stupid things at the embassy.
I'm not saying we haven't been friends with Poles for 100 years, but I think in the modern era, really significantly, it started with the Second World War. And to me, this 100 years of friendship thing is all very well, but it strikes me as being a sort of poor man's attempt to sort of make the best of Brexit, to try and recreate these other relationships.
But I mean, what drives policy in the Foreign Office today? I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
Well, I think part of the problem is the Foreign Office has been so emasculated by successive prime ministers that it doesn't have the quality and the depth. Yeah. If you had a foreign secretary who then destroys the Foreign Office, like David Milman in the Foreign Office Library, 500 years of accumulated knowledge just out of the window for no reason.
No, but it's sidelined. It's completely sidelined.
This has been the problem. So there isn't the sort of
calibre.
The calibre.
When I first went to live abroad in the late 1970s in Rome, the ambassadors were men of real stature, and it wasn't just that they were people of real stature, they were real people. They remembered your name.
Exactly.
You know, I was 25 years old.
I remember here, of course, in Poland, Michael Pakenham, when he was the ambassador, he was a splendid chap.
Yeah. Well, you say that because he was Catholic, but
no, I say that for three reasons. One, he was a splendid chap. Two, he's the one I knew the best of all the ambassadors been here. Three, he spoke very good Polish.
Yeah.
Four, he sort of conform to your view of a British ambassador, slightly, very, very dry wit, slightly aristocratic.
Yes.
And that's how everybody would imagine a British ambassador ought to be. And we don't seem to have that these days.
No, we don't. And I think it's a real decline. And I think, you know, what's going on in the Foreign Office, I mean, this is a hobby horse of mine. The expatriate community here has enormous value, actually, and insight, knowledge, completely ignored by the embassy, completely, you know, overruled. And what is happening at the British Embassy is really, really worrying, I think, because the culture there is now inherently Polish. It's not British.
Yes.
You go into the British Embassy here, and you're not met and greeted. You're not made to feel welcome. You're not introduced to other people, which was all part of British Foreign Office training. I was having this discussion with an ex-ambassador and his wife the other day, and they said, his wife said, "But that's terrible. We were trained to do this."
Exactly.
You know, and it really, really matters. And I'm sorry, you see people walking around in worn-out shoes and suits that don't fit properly, and they don't look you in the eye.
Yes.
And they don't remember who you are.
No.
And you know, and this is all undermining.
And I think you make this, and you look at Poland these days with its European Union membership, this increasingly booming economy. And Poland trying to, and succeeding, but becoming a far more interesting and influential, or at least participating more in world affairs.
I think that's more wishful thinking. I mean, if you read the World Bank report published this June, they highlighted a really fundamental problem, and that is that the Polish education system is not fit for purpose.
Well, I think it seems to be having two boys in it. It seems to be quite good at school level. I think when you get to university...
How old are your boys?
18 and 14.
OK. They spotlighted 15-year-olds, and they said in reading, in mathematics and some aspects of science, there has been a great improvement. In the things that make an economy work, cognitive skills, soft skills, which includes things like decision-making, and lifelong learning, this is completely and utterly in decline. And now with the present reforms, where the middle school has been removed,
yes,
this is going to become even, you know, it's very hard to see how this improvement will continue. I've been coaching startups recently. Innovative? No. Bringing ideas from abroad? Yes. Filling up the market, catching up with the marketplace? Yes, absolutely. That's fine. That is a sort of form of innovation, but it's not real innovation. Because you can't say to a 25-year-old who has been through a spoon-feeding education system, innovate! Let me give you some money. Innovate!
But you've got to have had the opportunity to actually been taught to think along the way.
Well, that's why, for the last 20 years, I've been lobbying for music education in schools. Not learning the names and dates of composers, but actually learning to make things and do things and work together. As other people do with sport, and others with things like business skills. I've just come from a meeting at the World Bank where I was introducing a friend of mine who's created a business platform, learning to run a business online, which would be ideal for school children to learn how to make decisions, how to manage people, how to, balance books, how to market. These are all, and, I'm working with some IT young people, in their very early 20s. Their life consists of getting up in the morning, going to work, spending the day in front of a computer, going home in the evening, looking at a computer and then going to bed.
Yes, that's a very sort of limit. But we could talk about this for ad infinitum.
Well,
I fear we've reached the end of our allotted
space. Oh, no,
space.
Nicholas, well then...
you must come back and we must continue saying things. But it's been absolutely fascinating, Richard. Thank you for sharing your views on Anglo-Polish affairs.
I think.
But that's very interesting. And also your particular personal perspective from your own family. That's been fascinating. So I hope you will come back again in the future. We can continue this discussion. But meanwhile, that's all we have time for this time from Poland Daily History. I hope you've enjoyed these episodes. Do join us again when we look more into the fascinating and exciting subject that is Polish history. Goodbye.